Your focus is not willpower. It is rhythmic timing between your brain areas. When we think of optimal mind states like deep flow or clarity, we usually talk about energy. But the real secret is synchronization. Imagine trying to ride a wave, but being slightly out of time with its rhythm. The power vanishes instantly. Your neurons operate similarly. If different parts of your cortex are not locked into perfect timing harmony, they just feel scattered or ruminative. This internal rhythmic alignment, known as phase-locked entrainment, changes how you experience reality entirely. It is the physiological gear shift between frantic noise and genuine insight, driven by subtle body signals coordinating complex brain chemistry like a perfectly tuned biological orchestra. The research shows this is not merely about quiet meditation. It is about optimizing network function. Think of your brain networks like a complex orchestra where different instruments need to play at varying speeds but still harmonize perfectly in time. That specific interaction is called phase-amplitude coupling. It allows one frequency, say the slow theta rhythm linked to deep thought, to precisely modulate or drive the rapid gamma firing that handles intricate processing and insight. We are seeing this biological blueprint map directly onto states of profound focus. The shift happens when our internal sense of self, our interoceptive awareness, starts gently guiding these complex rhythms from chaos into highly functional order. But what if that stable order is not just about better concentration? What if achieving true internal alignment means something much wider, affecting the very way we perceive reality itself? We're talking about synchronicity. Moments when complex neural activity across disparate parts of your brain locks into perfect harmony, a biological echo of cosmic balance. This state is actively stabilizing those deeply scattered patterns that lead to constant rumination or anxiety, grounding us instead in a coherent internal experience. It is the difference between being tossed by mental static and truly resonating with whatever surrounds you. Think of it like tuning an incredibly massive, delicate instrument. The whole system needs one unified pitch. But what if we can leverage our body's simplest signals to guide this vast neural orchestra into its most perfectly attuned state? Which means something nobody expected for how fundamentally self-regulation actually works. We talked about finding perfect internal rhythm, that massive orchestration of brain activity we need for true insight. But here is where it gets genuinely wild, because that stable order is less about hitting the high notes and more about stopping the noise completely. It means stabilizing the background chatter, silencing those default ruminative loops in your mind's operating system. That calibration process, driven by how acutely you feel internal signals, your heart rate, a breath shift, it acts like biological fine-tuning for massive neural circuits. Imagine building a complex skyscraper, but realizing all the structural stress is being managed not by expensive beams, but by subtle shifts in the foundation's moisture content. The ability to guide those foundational rhythms using somatic awareness transforms mere concentration into systemic resilience. Yet some neuroscientists argue that focusing on interoception simply increases anxiety before it reduces rumination, a claim we need to challenge immediately next. The synchronization we discussed is not just about settling down. It is structural architecture. When those deep rhythms align, they start connecting vastly different parts of your mind, the ancient memory centers talking directly to the advanced planning areas in your brain. Think of it as a superhighway suddenly opening between historical data and future prediction. This is where the concept shifts from feeling coherent to fundamentally restructuring how you know things. Your internal timing begins to regulate not just mood, but deep knowledge synthesis itself. The mechanism works by tuning into specific cycles that act like biological pacemakers for your thoughts, a process we call phase-locked entrainment regulating. It drives profound clarity. But the real secret is not achieving this lock. It is understanding precisely how external biofeedback can guide those internal regulators without forcing them, and what happens when you finally manage to synchronize both inputs simultaneously. Imagine achieving both perfectly, letting your body naturally set the pace while external feedback guides it toward an optimal state. The breakthrough is not just that this synchronization works. It is what the coherent timing fundamentally redefines within you. It reveals that these precise rhythmic cycles are not merely optimizing thought patterns, they are actually structural regulators of self-perception itself. This process, which we call phase-locked neuropacemaker entrainment regulating, suggests your intrinsic brain rhythm becomes a master dial for systemic resilience and perceived reality. Instead of just feeling calm, the entire architecture stabilizes. It changes the operating parameters of consciousness itself. The entire system is not just about tuning in for a perfect moment. It is fundamentally about consistent practice that stabilizes the baseline state of your nervous system. If you want access to that profound coherence, stop chasing the peaks, the intense flow moments. Instead, anchor yourself into gentle, repetitive somatic anchors. Find one simple rhythm, maybe matching your breath cycle precisely with a subtle body sensation like an expanding chest or tightening diaphragm. This is not about relaxation. It is deliberate calibration. You are using that natural feedback loop to nudge the deep architecture of your brain toward alignment, shifting its default operating mode from chaos management into generative synthesis. The full research archive is at jmthomusofficial.com. The entire process we mapped out is not about achieving some perfect peak state. That pursuit is a trap designed to fuel more frustration. The real mastery lies in accepting and observing your current baseline rhythm, not trying to force it into an idealized frequency. Think of coherence like a delicate gyroscope. You do not constantly adjust the speed. You find its natural center point through gentle resistance. That subtle calibration, that steady internal attunement is where true resilience lives. Stop aiming for flow and start tuning the foundation beneath your experience itself. The full research archive is at jmthomusofficial.com.